I kept it very quiet and private, and very few people on my side knew. In fact, nobody knew, apart from my father and my mother.
One man who may have known about their relationship and didn't seem to mind was Prince Charles.
I knew the Prince of Wales, but not well. I mean, I'd played polo with him. And we'd spoken at the polo clubhouse about the riding lessons and the extent of how much time that was spent, really. But I got an invitation to his 40th birthday party at Buckingham Palace. And, you know, comments like, you know, she would never ride with me or whatever. Or you'll have a hunting shortly.
Despite the royal couple both leading separate lives, Princess Diana clung to the hope that Prince Charles might one day return to her. A critical turning point was now finally to put an end to this dream.
Camilla's sister, Annabel Elliot, had a birthday party. Now, I remember Diana saying to me that she was going with her husband to this party. And I expressed some doubt about this because I said, well, you know that Camilla will be there. And she said, no, and in this sort of rather confident way, which was quite unusual for Diana then. She said, well, I'm ready to do that, Ken. It's not a problem for me anymore. So I said, fine. I didn't think Diana's presence was exactly what I think the Prince of Wales wanted, but nevertheless, they went, and I accompanied them both on that evening. Within about half an hour, I heard Diana shouting my name from a hallway, and naturally I went out and I said, what's the problem? And she said, well, you know, I can't find my husband, Ken. And she said, well, I can't see Camilla either. She said, well, will you come and try and find him with me? I said, well, yeah, okay, which I did. And after a sort of very scanty search of this house, we did then come across the Prince and Camilla Parker Bowles in the basement of this house. And Diana, in a very striding way, sort of went across and said to Camilla, look, it's okay, I know what's going on, you know, don't think I'm stupid. At that point, I did make a hasty retreat and we left. But that actually was a turning point, really. It was good enough for Diana to say, well, look, if my husband can do that with me whilst I'm here, knowing full well of my feelings towards Camilla Parker Bowles, my feelings towards the state of our marriage, then quite honestly, he's capable of doing anything. And I think at that point, and from what she said to me, look, there was no point now, Ken, in me pursuing in getting my relationship back with my husband back, because it's gone, it's clearly gone. Diana, for the first time in her marriage, actually was at one with herself and actually accepted that the marriage was over.
Well, maybe we'll keep it going. It's not easy.
I don't love you anymore. I don't think I ever did. And if you ever had any kind of love for me, you kept it all so well hid.
Princess Diana was now reconciled to the fact that her marriage was beyond recovery. Nevertheless, she continued her public duties at her husband's side.
The Queen has asked me to convey to you her sincere greetings and very best wishes.
Like all the disappointments you display.
Diana felt that for the moment she had no real alternative but to carry on as her husband's consort and as an ambassador for Britain and the monarchy.
You say why? You say why?
But behind the facade, she was becoming increasingly unhappy.
Diana felt trapped inside a loveless marriage, trapped inside an institution, but also trapped by our expectations towards her. She felt that she could not speak to anybody, not even her close friends from before the marriage, because everybody bought into the fairy tale. Everyone thought that this was the glamorous couple who bestrode the international stage, when actually Diana was just dying inside.
Waiting in the storm, ask me how I feel, and think that
Diana's exclusion from her husband's life and the now dominant position of Camilla was brought home to her in 1990 when Prince Charles broke his arm playing polo. Princess Diana rushed to his hospital bedside.
And when she got there, she discovered that Camilla had just left, and basically the team had said to Camilla to make herself scarce because Diana was on her way. And for her, that was extremely hurtful, that she wasn't the first to be at his bedside, and actually she ended up consoling a boy who was in a coma in another room.
And Prince Charles made it clear that when he got home to Highgrove, it was going to be Camilla who would take charge of his convalescence.
Holding back the years.
Lovely to hear you.
Perhaps Princess Diana might have soldiered on if it had been a different age. But in the era of intense media exposure, it was becoming impossible to hide what was happening in the private life of the royal couple.
I think the marriage had broken down so badly. She was with people who were going to talk, information was going to come out. It became very embarrassing.
Prince Charles's relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles was now being discreetly hinted at in the media. In 1991, Diana's lover, James Hewitt, who had been posted abroad for the previous 2 years, was named in the press. Diana severed relations with him pretty unceremoniously.
The relationship came to an end because it had become public knowledge and it was impossible to continue in that light. I felt betrayed at the time. I felt that I had been there when it was required of me to do so, or to be there. And I felt that, you know, I could have been supported similarly when it was required. But then actually, you know, I was there to help and to be supportive and not be a problem. And so pragmatically, as soon as I became a problem, I realized that I could be kicked into touch. I regret certain aspects. I think I was very privileged. And when you have a relationship like that, you've got to be grateful for that, no matter what. I do regret all the negativity around it. And I regret it coming into the public domain. And thence, you know, for the papers to rip you to bits in the way that only papers can. But on balance, I don't regret it.
Don't wish it away. Don't look at it like it's forever.
In October 1991, Princess Diana was with her sons on tour in Canada.
And while I'm away,
As always, despite the ever-increasing estrangement from her husband, she remained a devoted and supportive mother.
and it won't be long before